I usually make videos on movie explanations, but the latest news on Amber and Johnny is undoubtedly a matter of concern for any movie lover. I'm going to start with Johnny Depp's writing. The next video will be on Amber, and after both the videos are uploaded, there will be a comparison and analysis of the entire scenario. This will be a 3 video series, and though I only work as a professional graphologist, if I see decent response like a million views and 100k subs, let's say, I will start uploading regularly as this is one topic that needs time, lots of it. So make sure to make this video go viral as someone is really in need of your support. And I'm not just going to mention who really needs your support. I think by the end of the video you will understand who really is in need of the support. The issue is I've been going through the news and court proceedings lately, and I am very much confused as to what they are actually fighting for. If I am correct, the defamation case is due to Amber not standing on the grounds of donating the money received from her divorce case. Also, a statement of Depp being an abuser, not necessarily a physical abuser as per the statement publicly declared by Amber, leading her to be in the defamation suit as a defender. So, as the news is feeding on the court proceedings and YouTube is breaking out on the cases clip as who is telling the truth, I thought, hey, why not give it a try myself? As for the people who don't know me, uh, I have been studying graphology for the last 5-6 years. Bart Baggart and Mike Mendel being my inspiration and mentors, though they have never have given me any private classes, that is. I have been studying Bart's books and lectures and prominently follow Mike's as well. Though not a professional, I will keep my views on of their hand both of their handwriting samples as to who could actually be the liar and who actually is the victim. The samples that I have gathered from the internet are supposedly of those two, most probably autographs. I am simply going to analyze the basics of them and see how much accuracy I can land on. So I will, from my side, will try to get as much proximity as I can and as much depth as I can in the analysis. But at the end of the day, I might miss a few things, and if I miss those things, I would actually want you guys to comment in the comment section. That is. One more thing, a request to everyone. I have to be unbiased when making the analysis. So if there is a fan of either of the two, I am sorry in advance that things might not be very well according to what you are expecting to hear, because I cannot just simply say that this person is good and this person is bad. I have to judge depending on the particular handwriting analysis or the handwriting samples that I have been gathering from the internet. So without any further delays, let's start. Okay, so before we start, one more thing. For those who don't know what graphology is, let me give you a crash course. Graphology is the science of analyzing a person's attribute and characteristics on the basis of their handwriting. While science doesn't exactly believe that graphology is a 100% accurate science, almost all the big names in psychology and forensics back graphology as a good and prominent way to understand the nature of a person. Another important thing is that before we start our analysis, there are 3 terms and their combinations that you need to understand: sociopath, psychopath, narcissist. While some actually think that they know what this term signifies, let me give you a crash course on these 3 as well. According to Dr. Ramani is one of the most renowned psychotherapists out there, and you can see multiple videos of her in the on the internet, specifically on YouTube, explaining very minutely every single aspect of what psychopathy, sociopathy, and narcissism is. So let's just say, according to Dr. Ramani, a narcissist is a constant validation seeker. Means before or after he or she does something, he actually needs validation on whether that particular thing appeases the particular person or the entire mass. This is a very good example of people who have huge amount of followers on the social media despite not being a celebrity. So being a celebrity is a default setting of you being a narcissist, because that is something that you can consider as an occupational hazard. But if you are not a celebrity and still having that kind of following, then you are practically uh, choosing your lifestyle to be a validation seekers. Moving on, a psychopath is a born red signal that, or born red sign that you should stay away, because if we consider the flight and fight response in us, means in a critical situation, our brain has the tendency to understand whether to leave the place or to simply fight. So psychopaths actually don't really have any flight situation. Means they can actually have means they, like, consider a situation, and I'm quoting Dr. Ramani again. Consider a situation where you are driving a car, or a psychopath is driving a car, and there is a dead body in the trunk, and the police pulls over. Then the normal person's reaction is supposed to have means fear and irritation and things like that. Like, he will not be comfortable in the situation, but a psychopath will not actually respond to that particular incident in a way where you can say that yes, that is a normal person. He will actually be calm and cool as an ice cube, and like, he can actually ask the police officer itself that I have everything under control, and yet you are asking, means pulling me over. So I don't really think this is a good thing to do, but since you are doing a very good job, and despite being a hardworking police person, you can actually keep your calm. I appreciate that you are working so hard, so thank you very much. Whatever the things that you are actually needing, I can actually provide you, so let's make it quick because I'm in a hurry. So this kind of a reaction you can expect from a psychopath when he is in a critical situation. Sociopathy, on the other hand, is a little bit different. They actually share lots of similarities, but at the end of the day, they will be hyperactive, violent person. Means they will just be calm and cool one time and just react to something differently, violently, in a sense. So means the most prominent difference between sociopath and psychopath is that, let's say a sociopath kills someone, he will at the end of the day will have some, if not a huge, some amount of regret, disrespect for the things that he has done. Psychopath, on the other hand, will clearly consider that particular act to be a calculated risk, and he will not be considering that particular thing to be an act of severe human, let's say, brutality. So sociopaths are like the kind of people who are who have a tough childhood, abusive parents, sexual or physical harassment, etc. But psychopaths are actually born; they are not made. This is another term that I am quoting from Dr. Ramani's lectures. So psychopath is a genetical dysfunction, while a sociopath is someone who actually has lots of trauma in their past, and because of that they have developed a, means, let's say, defense mechanism as to how they should respond. So they actually use their violent behavior as a self-defense mechanism so that people avoid them when they don't want them to get closer. Again, I'm not quoting anyone, I'm quoting Dr. Ramani, but I'm not terming anyone as a sociopath, psychopath, or narcissist till now, as there is no need because I haven't started my analysis. But let's say as we move, I can, if you have a crash course, I can actually give you a good understanding of what things might actually come into. So there are a few basic terms like combining. So if you combine those terms, actually gives you a few definition like narcissistic psychopath. So a person who is a validation seeker and at the same time a hyperactive individual resorting to violence every once in a while. So we have socio-psychopath, like someone with a tough childhood, but at the same time he was or she was a born psychopath, so she will be a different creature all along. So combining all those, let's say we can actually understand everything as we proceed further. I will leave a link in the description of Dr. Ramani's. There you will find the entire concept very well explained. As for me, I am going to explain the context as we proceed, or the video will turn out to be a little too long. Uh, Graphology is a lot like maths. You do it right or you get confused and come to indefinite results. So here is a basic algorithm that we need to follow. I actually follow. So I'll be doing the analysis as to that. First, we are going to take a look at the margins. The margin will actually give us a summary of what the person's past, present, and currently individualistic ideals are. The slant of the lines will, next comes the slant of the lines. The slant of the lines will actually give you an understanding of how optimistic or pessimistic that person is. The pressure of the strokes will tell how a person behaves under pressure or what kind of an understanding he has in the society. The slant of the letters will actually give you a rough understanding of what kind of a person he actually considers himself to be. See, there are two aspects of a person's personality. One that he considers himself to be, one that he wants to get himself portrayed in the society. So the margin, the slant of the line will actually give an understanding of what he actually wants his image to be in the society. Pressure of the stroke, slant of the letters will actually give of what he thinks of himself in his own means view, let's say. Then comes the upper zone letters. The upper zone letters will give us an understanding of his intellectual integrity. Upper zone letters with circular attachments like the D, the B, the T in some cases, the I's in some cases, F's. These are the letters that will actually dignify on how he actually considers himself in a situation where he needs to be patient, calm, or in a critical situation, what he actually responds, how he actually responds. Then comes the middle zone letters. Middle zone letters are actually the kind of letter, actually signifies on what uh, micro expressions. If I say micro expressions are not only on the face, but micro expressions are also in the handwriting. So middle zone letter dignifies the micro expressions. So we are going to make an analysis out of that as well. Then comes the okay, in the middle zone letters we are going to take a look at the circular letters, angular letters, garlands, connectors, letterings, dots with patterns and placements, distortions, and a few other things on the way. The lower zone comes next. So the lower zone actually signifies on the needs, desires, wants, and in some places gluttony. So gluttony is a superficial word for desires. So we are going to take a look at the lower zone on what the things actually uh, matters in someone's life, what he wants, what he doesn't want. So, from need of financial security to sexual need, we are going to explain everything in the lower zone section. We're then going to take a few special traits, to look at a few special traits, that is, and as we proceed, we are going to understand what the special traits are, and then at the end, we are going to uh, take a look at the signature. And by taking a look at the signature, we can understand what he is going through, how he has been in his past, and what his life values are right now, and what are the permanent things that he actually thinks to consider in his life in the long run. Remember, our goal is to study and conclude who might be a potential liar and who might be a victim. This is not a judgment, as that is the job of the court. This is a pure analytical approach. And if a few things doesn't add up, I request everyone to not get offended. Okay, so let's get started. In this video, I'm going to actually analyze John Depp's video, handwriting. So let's start with the margin. So the margin in Depp's left side, means the margin this side. Okay, the margin in this side is fair, and the alignment of the lines is fairly perfect. The alignments in the lines means this is the alignment that we look for in a margin. So if we can take a look, this alignment is in a straight linear manner. That means uh, it's fairly perfect. Not fairly perfect, it's actually perfect, a little too perfect. The right side is irregular when it comes to alignment. So like this is ending in here, this is ending in here, this is this these two lines we are not going to consider right now. We are going to consider it in a different approach. So all this margin is like this, an irregular margin. So irregular margins are not a bad thing in the right side, not in the left side of the handwriting. So with irregular margins, one thing to notice here is the gap on both the sides. Like if I consider this to be a notepad and this to be the end of the notepad, I see a substantial amount of gap in both the sides. So left usually represents the past, and with that much gap, I can say that the past has not been fair to him. Past in Johnny's writing is clearly, I don't know, maybe a little bit traumatic, a little bit emotional, abusive, I don't know, but it's not good. Uh, it is very much there on the internet, although, about his hard life in the past. The point of focus is that similar incidents in life makes him double-minded whether to move forward or not. Let me give you a clear example. If there was someone, or there is someone who tortured him in the past, there was someone who tortured him in the past, let's say, and if there is some kind of resemblance of that person to somebody today in his life who he can relate to, the person who has abused him, who had abused him in his past, he is most likely to keep a distance from this person. Meaning, major trust issues, judgment from the past. So we can say that this particular marginal gap, this gap, you can see this is the line. We are creating an imaginary line here. This is the binding of the notebook. So from this to this, the amount of space that we can see clearly indicates a traumatic past which he fears, and because of that he is judgmental towards the person with resemblance of habits, looks, and all the other aspects that his subconscious minds can gather. Okay, next, one more thing. This is, let's say, it is a self-defense mechanism that he mostly don't do intentionally. See, subconscious mind is playing a crucial role in his handwriting, and because of that only, what he is doing to the new and upcoming persons in his life, it is not by intention, but it is by nature. So it is in his subconscious mind. The right side, although, is jagged, which is a good sign, as perfectly aligned on the right side means the person is a control freak and is spring to go out anytime. So as we can see, the right side, this side, this side, we can see that this is not in a straight linear pattern. So by definition we can say that, or by analysis we can say that this is a very good sign actually. If the right side structs a line like this, then we can say that the person is a control freak, and since it is not, so he can actually have a substantial amount of flexibility in both his personal and professional careers, or statements actually. And okay, one thing I missed. Once again, there is a substantial amount of gap on right as well, and that actually concretes the earlier statement of mine on trust issues. Okay, next is the slant of the lines. As a basic understanding, if the slant is moving upwards, the person is optimistic in nature. If it is going downwards, it's pessimistic. If the line is straight, it's someone with both the qualities with a delusional view on reality. So let's say if I see this particular line, if my associate can zoom into this particular line, that is. So in both the cases, I'm going to explain in both the cases. So this line, this line, this line, this line, if it is moving like in a linear way, it is moving. So it's neither up nor it is down. So like in this case, we can say that this is up, this is down, and this is linear. So in this handwriting, this is a completely linear one line, one straight line, and in the next let's say sample, I can see the same thing happening here again. So Johnny has a straight line in the first sample, and in the second sample of the second, sorry, in the second line of the second sample, sorry for that. In the second line in the second sample, though, the part in which a treat, quote, and a treat is written is little towards the up. I'm going to underline that. And a treat, see, an honor, this is a linear sentence. You see, this is a linear sentence. And a treat, this particular area is going towards upwards. So and a treat is going towards upwards direction. So we can say that Johnny Depp is was actually having a very good time in Tojo's Tojo-san restaurant, maybe, and the food that he had ordered was most likely to one of the most favorite foods that he had, and because of that and a treat changed its course to the upward direction. While the obvious statement here is a realistic person with a tendency to learn from mistakes, judging by the handwriting, that is, the margin on both the side combined with a tight straight line indicates someone who recently has lost the fire to try something new and explore things. In short, an introvert with limited need to explore new experiences. Means I understand Johnny Depp is in his 50s and he doesn't need to explore new things, but at the end of the day, he has been considered as one of the most sexiest person in the entire world. So, judging by that statement only, not to mention that he is one of the most expensive and versatile actors in the entire history of Hollywood. So, judging by that only, he saying no to most of the new experiences is something. So let's just say I am a very big Johnny Depp's fan and I am completely unbiased while I'm making this judgment. You will understand this particular thing when I'll be making videos on Amber Heard and then the complete analysis of both the handwritings. So I recall two definite movies, means I have seen most of the movies like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, uh, Pirates of the Caribbean. Then there was a movie, I don't recall the name, but he was an inspector with a crucial and dangerous level of drug addiction. He was investigating a case in the late, let's say, satanic period of Britain. And I am an Indian, so I say that with pride. Anyways, so another movie was the Nightmare, not the Nightmare of Elm Street, the Demon Barber of Elm Street. Yes, that movie. So the Demon Barber of Elm Street and the role in Pirates of the Caribbean are two different things, but at the end of the day, both the roles were played in two different aspects. So in both the cases, he particularly can morph himself into the character after reading the script. So, this is one of the few things that you can actually see in a person. So, in the and treat part, he has morphed himself to the delicacy that Tojo-san has practically provided him with. Just a wild guess. The and a treat part was maybe at a dinner, not lunch, not breakfast, but at a dinner. Favorite non-veg food, non-vegetarian food like steak or lamb with a glass of whiskey or scotch with white tablecloths. I mean, I don't know. Just trying to put a few things together for a mental image. Like when you are just making a video on graphology, you actually tend to get a lot of mental images as well, and because of that only you just put together a few things. So if you know about this, confirm it in the comment section if you know about it. That is. Moving on, the third is the pressure of the strokes. Pressure of the strokes means, see, some people will actually say that according to forensics, according to forensics the pen pressure is not that much, but the pen used is a signing pen, which actually the ink of that pen actually either it's a signing pen or it's an ink pen. So in both the cases, the pen actually provides a deep dark, and by dark I mean the color, not the character, deep dark and pressurized imprint of writing. Clearly, the pressure is very much visible no matter what pen you are using. So it's high, it leaves impressions, and the holding of the pen is very close to the tip. If you can see the writing, see, if I write like this, hello, and I shift to the very close point like this, and then I write. So in both the cases, I'm underlining this because this is in my habit. So in both the cases you can see the letters are different. I see loops in this, I don't see loops in this. I see there is a loop in this, I don't see there is a substantial amount of loop in this. But there, this part is free of loop, this part is not free of loop. I see a loop in this, I don't see a loop in this. So the position of the pen also determines the character of the person, because the more closer a person is holding the tip of the pen or the pencil or the writing material, the more likely he is to complement himself of becoming or being a honest and public figure, honest and public figure, that is someone who is actually in a show business, that is Johnny Depp, but still at the end of the day he doesn't want any negative criticism in his career or anything else. So moving on, I see that it is either a sketch pen, as mentioned earlier, or a signing pen or an ink pen, so the impression seems pressing. But the choice of such a pen and not a regular pen also shows the hidden psyche to add pressure in the handwriting. I mean, let's say you can choose any pen in this world, but you are choosing an ink pen. Why is that? Because you have used an ink pen and a ball pen, and you have the particular uh, amount of knowledge to compare both the writings in a subconscious way, maybe. But when you are actually using an ink pen, you want your writing to be a little bit bold, a little bit dark, a little bit pressing on the paper, so that people understand that yes, my words are the values that I present. These are the hidden psyches of a person. Not gonna lie, although it shows a narcissistic personality, mind you, it also shows a highly intellectual mind with meticulous nature and perfection oriented mindset. One thing to remind is that everything has two sides of it. It's the overall combination that makes it different. So, by far, if I am to judge the handwriting on the basis of the things that I have mentioned earlier, Johnny Depp is an introvert, defensive, highly intellectual, meticulous perfectionist with narcissistic traits. Means he is not just going to try to make everything perfect, but he is also going to make sure that those things are validated in front of the people that he considers himself to be important in his life. The validation as a narcissist, however, is professional, as someone cannot be a reserved introvert and an attention seeking narcissist at the same time if it is not the demand of something or someone. Let's just say, in this case, it's the job of Depp, which is in the show business, which makes him appear as a prized possession on the media. In real life, I highly doubt that. His real life is very much traumatic, trust me. Next are the upper zone letters. So the T bar, the I bar, and the D bar is completely free of loops. So if you take a close look in the first sample, I have made completely. So if we take a look at the T bar here, 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 and no, there are no more T bars. So I don't see any loops. Loops mean, let's say I am writing two, the letter what, T and O. So if I write this kind of letter, so I see and loop. This loop indicates the reaction to criticism, and I don't see a single reaction to criticism in his entire writing, be it in the first sample, be it in the second sample. If you can see, I see Tojo, the T. Here T, both the T's, the T, the T, the T, the T. Every single T, I don't see a single loop. Again, next I'm going to see the I and the D bar. So in the I and the D bar, I see one I here. There is no loop, but there is a dot, and which is very much linear to the line. And I see another I in the proximity section. The hospitality, in every single I dot I see, the I bar and the I dot is very much linear. And then what I want to see is the D bar. So when I see the D bar, I don't see practically a lot of D bars in the first panel, except for the D in the AND section. So I'm going to move in the second section a little bit. So I see AND a D here, which is free of loop. See, loop actually doesn't necessarily have to be like this. This is not a loop. This is a necessity of a letter. Loop is this. This is loop. Somebody writing this is not a loop. This is a necessity. The circular portion of the letter is a necessity. This is not a loop. This is not a loop. This is not a loop. This is a loop. This is a loop, because we are actually judging the uppercase letters, the upper zone letters. So if we are judging the upper zone letters, we are not supposed to see the upper zone letters with attachments in the middle zone. Remember, we are going to come to that, but these are the low middle zone attachments. This is the upper zone extensions. So we are going to judge this, not this and this. Getting me? So all the places that I have seen, like made, humbled, all these things, I don't see a loop. So he is not someone who is subjected to criticism, no matter positive, no matter negative. And to be very honest, that is the cleanest upper zone section I have ever seen in a long time. Additionally, the slants in the A, T and Y, like I'm going to zoom. Do you see the A here? Like A in both the cases, and then there is a like the dash upwards, and then the T. I see the T here. I see the T here. Like if I am writing an A like this, a T like this, or this, and a Y completely like this. So according to graphology, these are the kind of, some graphologists might actually say that this is middle zone attribute, but in reality we have to understand not only the position of the marking but also the position of the letters. The A here represents a capital letter, which by default indicates that this particular dash in the A is actually a trait that we can represent in the upper zone, meaning from left to right, from down to up. Similarly, this and this. In the handwriting, I can say that this, you see this? I hope you see this. The A, this, the A in this, the T in this, the Y, this part. You see, this is one part and this is another part. You see this, you cannot write this in, means you cannot write this letter like this, and this. No, you have to write this and then this and then this. See, if I don't write it like this particular area will not be a little bit more deeper than the one that I have made in this part. Judging by this, you can see this part is always a little bit deeper than the part in this. I'm going to zoom in and you can understand. See, this part is always a little bit deeper. then the part in this and this. So you have to write like this, you cannot write like any other part. Like this you have to write like this, you cannot write like any other part. So the part where you actually want yourself to be an optimistic person is the part where you are practically focusing on the left to right, up to down, sorry, down to up. There is no doubt that he is always optimistic about his profession and is willing to give 100% to make any profit reach the pinnacle of perfection. In other words, the movie he is working in is already a hit in his mind. Like it's a blockbuster in his mind with interviews, celebrations, and other success events are getting portrayed in his head. Like it's already a movie. Like after reading the script, he's like, yes, this I actually need to portray myself as this, and then this will happen. I have to be Jack Sparrow in an interview like this, and this, and this, and this. These are the kind of things. So, judging by the entire event, I'll say it's actually called the dreamer trait, where optimistic professionalism outcomes are already there in the mind. This is a very positive trait as it makes the motivation of doing something always high pitched. This trait is a double edged sword though. Let's just say people with this trait are more likely to get motivated from results rather than bringing the results through motivation. I mean, they can be depressed as hell one minute and can cheer up the other once they get a new reason to be so. It is also a sign of extreme workaholic nature. Late nights and means dead shifts are actually by choice rather than by force. Means your boss is not asking you to work late. You are actually choosing that by force. So by far a quick note on the summary. Motivated, yes. Optimistic in profession but not delusional in life. Meticulous to details, perfectionist in work, absolutely. Narcissistic personality on screen, yes, but not in real life. And an easily mood switching nature from depression to cheer. So, how to understand a person who is narcissistic in profession but not in personal life? So, when you are a professional which actually requires you to be a public figure in front of people, you need the things to get validated in front of a huge mass. So narcissism is a occupational hazard, let's say. But in real life you cannot be an introvert and a narcissist at the same time, because if you are an introvert you are not subjected to meet a lot of people, and if you cannot meet a lot of people you cannot get validated by a lot of people at the same time. So narcissism with introversy is not possible. It is not possible. This is something that you cannot say in professional or personal life. So in professional life people are actually viewing you on screen, following him on social media. So narcissism can happen passively, but in actual real life he cannot be a narcissist because he is a dead-lipped introvert. He cannot be a narcissist. So moving towards the next, I thought that I could actually find some upper zone letters with circular attachments like D or B, but since there are not any, we are going to skip that part and move to the middle zones directly so that we can get a more accurate analysis. Now, here is something very fascinating in the middle zone that I have seen. The middle zone is mostly not there as most of the letters in both the samples are in capitals. But there are still a few things that we can gather up and put together. The first thing is lettering. What is lettering? Me writing and like this, and me writing and like this are different. This is not lettering, mind you. This is lettering. Lettering is actually the interconnection between one or more than one letters. So, lettering is generally a trait of being a person who is secretive. Lettering with capital letters is very secretive as it provides an extra curtain on the possibilities of who you are deep down. Usually, this is a very popular sign of psychopathy if combined with loop circular letters actually, dashed eye dots away from the eyebrows and absurd lower zones or phalanx claws. I will explain phalanx claws in the upcoming section, but then again, these are the things. On its own, this is a very clear message of high trust issues of a broken man repeatedly being optimistic and repeatedly destroyed with the people whom he trusted the most. As I'm writing this, to be very honest, as I'm writing this as a professional graphologist, I actually feel bad for him. It is actually hard to imagine what level of betrayal could have caused such a level of secrecy and self-confidence, confinement, and still not a single inner loop in the circular letters making him a liar or a traitor. So, if I consider this O, this O, this O, the A, the D, and all the other circular letters like this O. See, circular letters means if I am writing like this, so I am lying to myself. If I am writing like this, I am lying to someone else. But if I am writing like this is a clear sign of socio and psychopathy. Like you are a pathological, chronical liar. You will lie to every single situation where you consider yourself to be the top of any situation. So bigger the loop here, bigger the liar. Like like a person who is, we can say this is a delusional person. This is a person who is in love, mostly seen in the teenage girls who actually considers their judgment to be the only one single judgment that actually matters. But still, these are the kind of things, and someone with this particular loop is actually scary because you are making two different loops in the right side of the circular zone, which actually indicates that you can not only lie but you can also provide supportive evidence of what you are lying. uh, Next we are going to look at the N and M's. So again, the N and M's, even the N and M's are perfectly aligned, showing a good clean nature and no treacherous policies whatsoever. While some experts may say that the I dots are dashed, it is also important to see the position and the distance of the dots from the bar. There is a strong sign of irritation, mind you. There is a strong sign of irritation, but it can only happen when you keep bugging him over and over again for one single thing. He is not a multitasker. He will prefer to put 100% effort on one thing rather than 20% effort on 5 different things at the same time. And I also think he is suffering from ADHD, probably dyslexia as well, but I am not an expert of it. It is better not to say anything further as this could create an unnecessary controversy. So for the people who don't understand what angular letter means, So I see aggression. Angles means aggression. So I see aggression. But the thing is, see the letter M in my respect. See, you can see this particular line. You could practically scale it with a scale. The N like this. If I write like M like this thing is something that indicates means treacherous policies in someone, like the ends, this. But I practically see the n like it's in one line. This is a capital letter, so this is an inscription. Let's say this is a name. You cannot judge someone. You cannot judge someone's handwriting on the basis of someone who is writing a name. Tojo san, this particular san is a let's say title given to someone. San in Japanese means like san and kun both means brother and sister kind of a thing. Like Mr. we use Mr. or with respect we use. Then Tojo san. This san means someone provided with respect, a lot of respect for something that he has done good. So I see as a normal A and an N with a little bit highly optimistic. See, you cannot say that this particular thing doesn't add up. This N going upwards means a high level of optimism for this person. This is something else, and this N is something else. It's like you write a letter N like this means someone with a highly respected manner, with trustworthiness. This is the kind of N that you want. This N is something that you are not supposed to be trusted. Clearly, I don't see a single instance of this N in this entire writing. So this is the N that I was looking for, and I don't see anyone. Means anyone means not even a single instance. Another sign of being an extreme introvert is that there are no garlands in the writing. So what are garlands? Garland is like I write a letter A, I leave a garland here. The N, I leave a letter garland here. S, I leave a letter garland here. Okay, it's a reverse garland, but still it's a garland. Then U, I leave a garland here. But as far as I can see in this entire sample, I don't see a single bit of garland in this entire section. Not even a single one. If you guys see, then please comment in the comment section. So it shows how much quick you can blend in with the people around you. If you have a bigger garland, you can blend with the people around you. As there is not a single aspect of any, it is safe to say he will choose a book or a movie and stay in his room rather than enjoying a lavish party full of people. I will not be surprised if I can actually come across, or you guys can actually come across instances where Johnny Depp was considered as a highly bright person or a very egoistic person, because he didn't talk to much people, because he is an extreme level of introvert. He has an extreme level of introversy in himself. So it was not in his fundamentals to go socialize with anyone. So now let's see what the lower zone has in his handwriting. The lower zone, as far as I can see, has no complete loops, as the only loop visible in is the and my respect. So you see this part, there is a lower zone, I see there, and I see a lower zone in here as well. You see it's tiny, but it's still visible. Finding loops in both the cases and both the words being the same, it is clear indication that he is very much in need of respect. And as a meticulous perfectionist who is a result oriented person, this could very well be the reason for him getting pushed to being a drug or an alcohol abuser, sorry, not an user, abuser. So understand this. You are a celebrity superstar, but at the end of the day, in your personal life, you don't have a single friend. Forget mates, family, everything, but you don't actually have a single friend who appreciates you. How do you feel? It's everything fake, it's everything phony, but for an introvert, it's nothing less than a poison. It's a glass of poison with a glass of whiskey mixed with poison. That is, I am not framing pictures, but still, at the end of the day, Johnny Depp seeks respect in his personal life. People who know him, people who understand him, he wants them to respect him as a person, not as a celebrity. That is the biggest issue. So I don't know when this was taken, but I think this trait was there in his writing even before Amber happened. Lower zones usually are default by nature, and changes like these are practically long term rather than sudden. Another important thing here is that there is a significant lack of proper lower zone display, which either means that he is no longer into materialistic needs. Like, yes, people might say that he has 15 plus houses, like 15 houses or more, this and that, this car and that, but in reality, how much of them are getting used by him? That is the thing. Satisfying his ego because he is a narcissist by profession is not the same thing when it comes to personal life. You have to understand that. So, if you ask me, either he is hiding them, means the desires, so perfect that not even Sherlock Holmes can pull out of him, or he doesn't have them. A few special traits now to discuss. The distinctive dash with strong and bold characteristic in nature shows that the level of confidence in him. See, after writing this dash, if I write, I will consider these two dash are means these two dash being completely unnecessary, but still they are there. If I see both the next handwriting sample, I will see that there are two dash. Mind you, these dashes are practically in the ending of the writing, which means he actually wants his statement to be public and considered himself to be someone who has an influence on the society. That's why he is making sure that whatever I have written upwards, I don't want to get those things missed. So judge me, mark me, criticize me, but give an honest opinion. This is what those dashes mean. We mostly, although, see the letter F for the ability to bounce back of a person. There is no lowercase f in his writing. So it is very difficult to simply just deduce the fighting spirit that's left in him without an F. But still, considering the aggression in his writing, like almost angular, so we can say he is not going to give up. He is not going to give up on anything anytime soon. And finally, the signature. So, judging by his signature, I can see three different paths in his signature. The long vertical line shows a desire to crawl out of all the nonsense that has happened in his life. You see, this particular line, you see, this is the long vertical line in both the cases. He wants to be distinctive of what he has been, what he had been in his past life. He doesn't want that. He wants to be distinctive in what he is doing, what he is pressuring, what he is pushing, what he is hustling for. This is the sign of desperation. I'm sorry, but this is the sign of desperation of him not getting what he wants despite putting more efforts. This is a perspective, completely perspective. This judgment is a completely perspective in nature. So I think that Johnny thinks that whatever he is putting into efforts, he doesn't actually really getting the exact result that he actually considers himself to be in. Again, this is a perspective sign, so I'm just keeping my let's say views on it. So maybe somebody agrees, some maybe somebody doesn't agree, but I don't think that there is nothing to get agreed. Another one thing, the wavy three, like you see this is a three kind of a thing. The wave, it's a wave. See, in this handwriting I see a sharp display. This particular place has a sharp display of whatever it is, like a desire or a need to stand out of the crowd, whatever. But I see angle, and angle again means aggression. But in this particular sample I see an angle, but it actually misses the sharpness. So if I am to judge, this particular sample is was taken long before this was taken. So this Tojosa restaurant was visited later, lot later. This particular place was visited very earlier, like in his 40s, maybe in his 30s, 40s. This was, and this is a very recent sample. This is a very recent sample, like 5 years maximum. This is a very recent sample. So the why with three like part that shows his initial level of flexibility to just land something that can make him some money. In his past, maybe it was such traumatic that he actually needed a reason or a way to exist. And if I am not wrong, that wave has recently changed, like maybe 5 7 years maximum, as I have mentioned earlier. The part that's coming down and the parts that making the line is moving more towards the left, and the overall signature getting more wider towards the line. I mean, you see, I this making an aggression, then it is going in a straight linear line. At the same time, if you see that little this and then this, you see the leniency of this particular line. This is no longer a long line like this one, and as a matter of fact this is not going a long means way, means he just want himself to get confined, means get out of a situation where there is too much public interaction. He doesn't want that. He just wants to complete this particular thing. He just want to sign it, and then he just wants to move along. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't need to be there. He just wants to be like, I'm there, I just did my part, this is a promotion, I did my promotion, and I just want to go away. This, I appreciate that there are fans. I appreciate that there are fans of me, and I am very much highly appreciated that you guys are actually supporting me. Thank you very much for that. Again, these two things are subconscious, and he might actually be doing both those things without even him knowing it. So the path that's coming down again, and the path that making the line is moving more towards the left, and the overall signature getting more wider towards the line, as the bottom part is what he is hiding in him, like this part. This is the part where he hides himself. You see, both the samples are completely different. Although from a graphology point of view, those writings and those strokes and everything are same, but the writings, but the signature is completely different. It has changed. This is something that he has been hiding in his earlier stages. Someone still hiding, yes, but this is something that a broken person is hiding. No symmetry, no leniency. It is this and this, but in this particular sample I see, yes, these things are hidden. This is outside. This is a sign of independent thinking. These things are lenient. This is straight line. This and this are adjacent. You see this and this going upwards, so making a decent loop. So yes, we can say this was taken in an earlier stage. This was taken in a much later stage, where he considers himself to be just a person with professional values, but nothing in his personal life. So this is very dangerous, as the bottom part is what he is hiding in him. It's clear that those waves that he is depressed overlapped into multiple thoughts at once, which is affecting his single tasking nature, and not a single father figure to look up to for talk and guidance. He doesn't have a single father figure in relative, in friend, in everything. And to be very honest, I highly doubt that he actually has any friends that is actually coming around to help him out in a situation like this. So, in an entire summary, let's say, he's a motivated person, optimistic in profession but not delusional, means having false hopes in life, meticulous to details, yes, perfectionist in work, absolutely, narcissistic personality on screen, and an easily mood switching nature for depression to cheers and vice versa. Like, he cannot just be a violent person, no. He is not a violent person. There is no sign of a violent person, and I can vouch for it. There is no sign of a violence. There is no sign of sociopathy in his writing. No, there is no sign of sociopathy in his writing. He is not a violent person. So, but the problem is he can actually switch from depression to good mood and then good mood to depression just by simply looking at a video, a short clip on YouTube. This is nature. Hidden or no materialistic desires, yes, alone and in real need of a guide or father figure. He is alone, he is in need of a father figure or a friend to look up to when he is in need, want to stand out of the crowd, being unique and in real need of respect, although the definition of respect for him is not what he is getting from being a superstar. Understand this. So that's it. That's the end of the video. Hope you have enjoyed. I'd really appreciate if you could share this video on Twitter with a few tags like Jim Carrey, Robert Downey Jr., or RDJ, whatever, Bart Baggett, and Mike Mandel kind of people. I cannot help him out. They are the ones who can actually help him out of this situation. Understand this. Winning the case is not what he wants. Winning the case with dignity in the society is what he wants. Getting me? Have a nice day. See you next time.